can't find my way back to you until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home. Find your way back home. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Until you find your way back home. I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home.
seat you by the fire. Listen, listen. There's something I must confide. I know I said that it'd be fine. I know I made it look like it'd be alright, but I think I learned my lesson, and I'm not gonna let you out of my sight. You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter when you're answering to God. You can call me killer as you look into my eyes. Nothing but a sinner. You won't get away this time. You won't get away this time. You won't get away this time. You won't get away. You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter when you're answering to God. You can call me killer as you look into my eyes. Nothing but a sinner. You won't get away this time. 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 You won't get away this You won't get away. You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter.
Live on Sky Sports F1. Formula One is back. It's the moment they've been waiting for. Are you ready? It's time. Let's go, boys. Listen to the roar. Time to go racing. McLaren's on a charge. There is a full of Ferrari. I need more power, man. Okay, Lewis, it's hammer time. He's going for it. Give me everything you have. He's going wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton.
Yo, yo, yo. We're live for the F2 Season 3 Draft Race and Draft, joined today by Travis.
Hello, hello.
So this is a new season, well, new league to be honest with you, not done F2 before. First track, France, as we've just done in the actual F1 league. Quite a few new people today, but there's basically one person who's coming through. Well, two, we got through as well, haven't we? But oh, copy saying I'm quiet, by the way. But yeah, so we're going to get onto the league. We're going to do a 30-minute qualifying session and then go on to a full feature-length race, which I think is about 30-ish laps, roughly.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
So we got 30 laps, 2 tyres are available, the soft and the hard compound. Hard compound is going to last them about 29 laps, so they can run it to the end just about, but I don't think that many will opt for that option. The soft tyres last about 14 laps, but I think the only reason why they're going to come into the pits is to change their front wings. Hopefully not. What do you think, Dan?
Well, ideally, there's no ice cream sound in the back. Sorry about that. Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because the weather's undynamic, so we might not even get to see some softs. But
That is a very good point.
I don't know. I think the likes of the faster ones can maybe pull off the more pit stops and go for the faster compounds. But I think it's going to be a case of most people are going to pit when they do some damage to the car at this point, if I'm being honest.
Definitely. And as we come into qualifying now, it looks like it's completely dry.
Doesn't look completely warm though, does it?
It does.
So there's going to be could be rain next 30 minutes. Can see who's the first one coming out of the pit. Let's see. So who's your money on to do well outside of Flyer?
Besides Flyer, who, if you don't know, was our season 1 winner for the F1 Championship, I did have a good feeling on Sesh King's friend, but it doesn't seem to have connected to the lobby today. Besides that, I suppose the only one that can really contend with Flyer is Bauer, who's also driven for us in season 1 as he comes out in the pits, from the pits now. Besides that, everyone is fairly new game, fairly new, fresh blood.
So we got Flyer going on to the hard tyres. I think that's mostly for practice rather than setting a fast time. We've also got... Oh, Gekno's already gone off the track. Oh, he's already spinning.
Oh dear.
Oh, there's a little bit of a... We think this is Gekno's first race, so we're not entirely 100% sure on how used to he is, especially with the F2 cars.
Oh.
If you don't know, the F2 cars have got a lot less downforce, I'm pretty sure, and they're a lot harder to control on the throttle. Also, the braking points are quite a bit behind where they are. As you can see, Gekno's having a bit of trouble currently with his car. So, you know. Oh, as I just found out, Gekno is also on the keyboard in an F2 car. So I can't imagine. And he's found the wall already as well, Gekno. So I think he's going to have to pit already. So Conjo is also... Literally. The thing, like I said, the thing to remember is these F2 cars are so... If you've driven them before, you know how much harder they are to drive than actual F1 cars.
They are quite a struggle. The rear end does not want to stay stable in the lower gears. it's really hard to pick up traction with these cars.
So as you're gonna see a lot of people spinning out. To be honest with you, but you know, it's part of learning the game, isn't it? Getting through all that sort of stuff, learning the actual balance of it.
It is, yeah, and as you said, like everyone here is new besides Flyer and Bauer. Everyone
Yeah.
else is fair game. Speaking of, Flyer on the fast lap here.
Yeah, we got Flyer on his fast lap. We've got an incident at the chicane. Conjo still struggling to get around a little bit. We've also got Bauer coming onto his fast lap down to the first corner. This first corner can be real tricky in these cars. It's tricky enough in the F1 cars with the cutting the corners and stuff as you come out with it.
Yeah,
We've got
this track,
Franklin going onto his as well.
this track has a lot of corners where you come out of one and the next corner starts. It's all about late apexes, and it's a right nightmare.
Are we on strict or regular, do you know?
We are on strict.
Oh, we're on strict as well, yeah. Flyers invalidated his lap, it looks like. It's not good news if Flyers invalidating his lap. Bauer's not invalidated, is he? He's coming down the chicane now. Going to be the first one setting an actual time. See where he falls in. Hopefully, Connor gets a bit of more of a grip before they come up. Oh, Bauer's fastest sector 2.
Yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3. Which car is that? Is that the car
This-
of Connor?
Yeah, Connor Conjo is in sector 3 and he's struggling right now. In sector 2, there seems to be a train going on between Comrade Matt, Thrun, and I don't know who that third one is in the orange. That's Stuhlbend.
So it looks
So-
like Connor has burnt out his tyres and he's come back into the pits. Not really worth risking anymore on those soft tyres, and he's going to come out on new ones.
Yeah, looks like we got Bauer coming across the finish line for his first fastest lap of the draft race. See where he sets it in.
And that's going to solidify a nice and easy P1. But the rest of the cars are still yet to come through, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm not too sure on the F1 timing, the F2 timings for the lap speed, roughly. I think 148 is a solid time.
Yeah, I think 148 is okay. I wouldn't expect Flyer to set anything less than 148, 147-ish, 146. So we'll see when he comes around if he gets a valid lap in. Hopefully, well, we've got 24 minutes. So
Yeah, you have time, I think. We've also got Franklin coming in at 150.88. It's a bit slower than Bauer. Oh, there comes Stuhlben with a smashing Bauer's time, to be honest with you. He's actually smashed out the park there, Eddie. To be fair to him, it's looking pretty good.
there are some
Who's coming up
surprises for
next?
us.
So we got Gekno coming up to his. He's actually made it around the track without. He's actually got a real good grip here. Not sure on his. It looks like he is going to be slower overall, but
He looks like he's going to come in with P3 over here. Much faster in front, but still in the 2 minutes.
yeah. It's a solid time for your first time, especially on keyboard as well. Who we got next up now? Oh, we got Franklin setting another one. Ideally, with the soft tires, you want to sort of set one and then change tires because they don't really. You lose a lot of time coming back out on them. Oh, there's Flyer's time, 145. Expected different last year,
Beautiful, actually beautiful.
on the hard tires as well. Flyer might as well just.
Wow, that is amazing. That is quite the feat. I want to see what he
Yeah,
can do on the softs, to be honest. But he's probably going to stay on the hard compounds. He's
I
gonna
think
start the
Flyer
race
might
on that.
actually be faster than me in the F2 car than I am in the F1 car on this track.
Well, what's the average lap on an F1 car? 130-ish, no?
Yeah, it was low 130s. I think Com got a 133 was the fastest time on
In
the weekend.
race.
I know I was lapping around 136 consistently. Oh, there comes Franklin lowering his time. So we just got at the moment Monty and Connor left to set a time.
Yeah, that's right.
Monty's on his fast lap now. We got a bit of battling going on, it looks like, between Flyer and oh, Connor on his outlap has spun again. Connor seems to be struggling a bit more than everyone else. But I don't really blame him, to be honest with you. Those F2 cars are a nightmare to handle. Let's see who we got now. So we got Monty coming up to the chicane. Again, hard one to take really, because it's just so easy to get the braking point wrong and then just fly out. But it looks like he's got around pretty smoothly. Coming on to a long run.
There we go, Connor starting off his first lap.
So you got Connor. Monty's coming to the last couple of corners now. I think when the tyres are warmed up a bit more, you got a lot more grip in it. Makes it a lot easier to handle, to be honest with you.
You do, and this track is pretty flat compared to some others, but it's the corner, especially before the first DRS straight, that one is so hard to get the traction down right. If you get it wrong, you end up oversteering into the wall, and no one wants that. But if you get it right, then you get the perfect getaway onto the straight. And
Can we just talk about Monty's time?
What's he set? A 146.9, faster than both Stallben, just slightly slower than Flyer. Well, I say slightly slower, a whole second, but that's really good coming out from.
That's a solid time, to be fair to him. Oddly enough, Stallben has now gone to the hard. Maybe he's looking to set a bit of consistency with the tyres rather than just going for the sort of fastest lap and then coming in. Looks like Monty's going on to another lap. He's just at the fastest sector 1. Let's see what he can do.
Oh, and Connor's gone off during his lap. He's the only one that needs to set a lap here, and he's spun it again. Oh.
I mean, Monty spun. I mean, the good thing is about spinning is that even if you don't really set a good qualifying lap in this, it's still only 9 races, so you're not going to be too bad. And arguably, in these type of races, especially with a first corner like this in F2 cars, being at the back might be a bit of an advantage. Or a disadvantage.
Again, usually, he's clipped the curb. That's not going to be good. He's going to be limping back home.
He's really struggling, isn't he?
He is.
He set a time though. He set a time.
It's true, but I don't think he'll be happy with that.
No, I don't think so either, really. Well, who surprised you the most so far?
I didn't expect Stallben and Monty over here, so they've really blown my mind.
Oh, 5 grid place penalty.
Oh no.
Between Gekno. Unfortunately, I didn't see that, so I don't know what actually occurred, but it looks like Gekno's lost some of his wing.
Connor is still struggling to get around this track. Poor guy has slipped it out just before the DRS sector.
The issue is he keeps pushing it as soon as he gets back on the track, so those tyres are going to be at full heat.
Yeah, they're going to be molten.
I'll be surprised, if he stays out, to be honest with you. It might be better for him to go into a medium tyre, to be honest with you, and just keep it, because those he keeps revving the engine when he spins. He needs to take it a bit slower, then he just, yeah.
Unfortunately, there are no medium tyres available in F2, so the only tyre compounds we have are soft and hard. So if he wants to switch compound, he's going to have to go into the hards. I don't imagine his lap time is going to be anything better with the hard compound.
I think you'd have a bit more consistency with the hards, at least.
That's very true.
The only thing I'm thinking. I think he could improve on his time with the hards, but I don't think it'll be still, really where he wants it to be.
I think starting on the hards might be the better strategy, because the soft tyres do burn out quite quickly. Like you said, consistency is the key, and that's what the hard tyre is going to give you. I
think most people, ideally in this race, if you're here, what strategy do you go for in the race? Say you've qualified. What would you qualify on, and what would you then do as your strategy throughout the race?
I'd qualify on hards, see how it goes. I mean, coming in new, I'd start on the soft because I'd expect an incident to occur early on, and then that way, like if it happens, lap one goes wrong, fine, then we can switch straight away to the hards, and we're gucky. But in the right mind, I'd say start the hard tires and continue on with that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, consistency is key. Realistically, here, if you can avoid a couple of major incidents and just get a bit of air between you, usually you're actually pretty good. Once you've built that lead, it's hard to then, unless you obviously spin out yourself, tends to be a bit more of, especially with new people, sort of a bit of a cluster of everyone just sort of crashing into each other at the start.
Yeah. At that point, everyone wants to struggle for turn one.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we're not seeing anyone really beat the times that they set. Everyone sort of set the times. There's only Thrun that's really improved on it. It's from a 210 to a 158. It's still not there really, but he's now gone onto the hard tyres. A few people gone onto the hard tyres. So at the moment, it looks like Monty. Oh no, Monty set his on softs, didn't he? Yeah. So it'll be Flyer only on the hard. I'm pretty sure Thrun set his on the soft as well. Looks like a few people are struggling in terms of grip. The track does get better as you go around it, obviously, but
it does as the cars lay down more rubber. Gives the track more grip. It lets these guys get away with more.
Stillben's gone off, as well as who's that? As Gekno is also struggling a little bit around first couple of corners. Stillben looking like he really struggling around the first couple of corners. The one thing I can give advice to these people is these people, by the way, is control the throttle a bit better. Don't just go from 0 to 100 straight away, especially in these cars, because the back end is just gonna punish you. You're not gonna be able to control it. It's all about the throttle control with these sort of cars.
These damn F2 scum. Oh! Collision with Stillben, and I think the car are front. Or was it Franklin?
Gekno and Stillben.
Gekno and Stillben. Oh god.
No penalty though. Well, there's Flyer improving on his time, 145.6. Solid time. I don't think anyone's going to beat that, if I'm being honest. I'll be shocked if someone gets under a 145, a 146 at this point. The best bet's Monty, but I don't know how much of a fluke that lap was compared to how good he is, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just had one amazing lap and then sort of the rest are a bit more average. But again, qualifying compared to the race is two different scenarios.
It is, yeah. Flyer might be the fastest man right now in this session, but he can easily bin it in the next hour or so that we have of the race.
It's a hard one. So, give some insight. As the Red Bull captain, you got your eye on anyone? And obviously Flyer is a sort of top of the chain, but
Flyer's been around with us ever since the end of Season 2. He didn't have a very good Season 2 because of his connection issues and stuff, but since the start of Season 3, he's always been around. If we ever have any questions or stuff, he's always there to help. Sort of as a pit crew. He's always there, like if you want to ask about strategy. Seeing him come back now, I'd eye him as a pickup, as a reserve.
I think you will struggle to get him first, though.
Yes.
Well, from what I remember, you're not the first sort of draft pick.
Not by a long shot.
Yeah, so I think you might struggle to get there. To say Flyers are not on the table. Is there anyone else before the race, for qualifying, you were sort of looking at thinking, might not even be here during the actual draft race, because there are more than 9 people. I think there's 14 people signed up, right? I think 15 actually, because I think Quee said he was signing up.
Okay.
which actually is on the draft list. Let me have a quick. So you might need to tell Brandon to edit that quickly and throw one more person on there. He isn't. So let me just message Brandon quickly. I think he signed up. He said he was an F2. Just for the draft race goes ahead, and then there's obviously one person that just gets yeeted towards the end. Let's see, Brandon.
So we have just been informed that Gekno has got his controller, but he hasn't practiced at all with the controller, so he's still going to be pretty rusty. I say rusty, he's completely new. So.
Yeah, and we're looking at the pre-lobby, and you get levels, obviously, of like where you're at, and how many races you've done roughly. I'm looking now. Brandon is sorting that out. And Gekno was level 1, so that indicates that he's not really raced.
He's just come straight into this.
Which I respect the balls in it, because it's going to be a bit of a shock though coming into F2 cars. Even if you've like only driven F1 cars one time, the difference between the two isn't like it's night and day.
It is, yeah. The braking distances are a lot longer. The amount of power that you get to the rear end is different as well.
We got Thrum coming round on a fast lap. On his hard, I don't know really if he's gonna. I don't know if it's a spectator bug, but it does say low fuel as well, so I think he's either gonna pit or go for it.
He is currently behind on his time, so whatever he's gonna set, it's not gonna be anything better than a 158.7.
Yeah, he's gone straight into the pit. So right now, everyone past Steelben is in the pits, just chilling. You're expecting to see a couple of people try and go out at the end and just try and get a cheeky fast time, see if they can knock someone out of the way.
Definitely. I think Monty will like to give that another try. I'd like to see him give it another go.
Yeah, Monty's looking solid from what I've seen. I wish we could sort of see, all the lap times he's done in general. As opposed to like just the fastest one, so I could see more consistency rather than he's just done this one fast time, if you get me. Stillbend is coming on to his out lap now.
He is. Stillbend and Bauer, their times are really close, within a tenth of each other. As we see Mr. Comrade Matt coming out of the pits. Alongside the car of Franklin, I believe.
Yeah, the one thing I have noticed, a lot of people in this, obviously being new, they're not giving each other space, but they're all sort of coming out at the same time. As much as the drag might be nice down the straight, I'm not sure the dirty area is sort of where you want to be when setting your fast lap.
Definitely not.
Especially with it unsettling the car and everything. Oh, we have seen a spin from Comrade Matt. Oh, and Franklin. Looks like they both just done the same thing and drove into the wall.
Oh no.
Looking fantastic there. So we have got Stillben coming up to the chicane now. Nice and smooth, still on the track. Touch the curb a little bit. It's nice corner exit. This sector 3, for me personally, I actually found the hardest part because there's so much speed you can lose through here from early braking. Because it's quite a high speed section.
It is.
There's quite a lot of long turns and all that sort of stuff. So I think if you can nail this section, you've got a good chance of setting a solid time.
Stillbend went quite wide into that turn here. He's really keeping it together though. Ooh, oh. No, he's gone off track. That's an invalidation there, right there.
No, it's the map goes red when he invalidates, and it's looking.
Oh, is
okay,
he still clean?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Whoa. Oh,
Franklin and Comrade Matt are quite close to each other. I'm sensing a bit of danger coming up soon. Let's see. Are they going into the pits, or are they going to go on the outlap? They both did drive into a wall, so I imagine there's some damage, but they've both gone out. There's 3 people going out. Here we got Gekno, Comrade Matt, and Bauer. Oh,
okay.
There's Gekno gone. So Comrade Matt and Franklin, they're on 4-lap old softs. I'm not sure that's ideal, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think that's going to be any faster.
I think at that point the hards are just a bit more like. This is what I was saying with the hards, probably a better tyre to actually try and get a better time on.
Might as well whip on those white wall tyres. because these soft tyres aren't going to carry you anywhere else, as Matt gives way to Franklin.
One thing to note, Flyer is out on an outlap on a soft tyre. So it'll be interesting to see where Flyer settles down. Oh,
As we get
So-
news from race control that Connor has been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way.
as far as I'm aware, he's still in the actual race. It's just he's not in the qualifying session anymore.
He will be
Um,
starting P9 from the grid.
Which he was there anyway, so it's not like he's not really lost or gained anything from it.
It's true, yeah.
We have got Franklin coming up to his, like I said, the tricky sector 3 here. Let's see how he takes these. This corner here is what gets me every time because there's a fine balance between throttle and brake. Because you can overshoot it so easily, but you can also undershoot it and just lose so much time going through that corner.
He's keeping it in third gear here as he comes through. So he's really trying to keep the traction going. And this section of this track here, oh, it is rough. It is always rough. And I imagine F2 cars with less downforce, it's really hard to keep it tight through that section.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close on his time. Is he going to improve it? He's just over.
By 2 tenths. That is unfortunate.
Do you know what screwed him there? The 4-lap old softs. I guarantee it.
Definitely, yeah.
So I've just read the chat, and apparently Connor screwed his lap up and then tried turning around and going back into the pit. In this game, that's a straight disqualification. I think as soon as you turn your car around and you start accelerating anyway, you're looking at disqualification on that one.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
So you got Monty sitting on hards right now. We've also got Bauer on his fast lap beginning, he's on 4-lap old soft. So I'm not quite sure if it's really going to improve on it. It's very hard to improve on a time set on fresh softs compared to the worn soft.
Have you seen the new Haas livery?
The white one,
Yeah.
going back to 2018, hasn't it?
That's what Bauer's. I don't know what F2 car that is, but it really reminds me of the new 2020 Haas livery.
I don't know what one he's in. It's Russian time, isn't it? Yeah. It's Russian time.
yeah.
You can see with the F flag on the back, yeah. I only know that because I was looking at F2 teams before this, because very professional. And the only one I can remember is Russian time. And Carlin is the two mostly.
Carlin,
So yeah,
Carlin.
we got a lot of people. The Flyers set at 144 in his soft. That's a stall time, to be fair to him. So we got a couple of people coming to the finish line now. We got Franklin. Franklin's gone. Got Comrade Matt looking to improve his time. Again, it's the softs that kill them. The fact that they're so old, they're losing a lot of time. They're just with lack of grip, to be honest with you. We got Bauer, Franklin. Stillben's come out onto fresh softs at least, so he's either listening or he's realised. Again, Bauer's going on another lap. He's just set another time, and it's not there. You're going to struggle quite a lot.
Yeah, it's not too great. Let's tune in with Stolben over here.
It looks like he's doing decent. Coming towards the end. Who's he got behind him? Gek now, it looks like. Yeah, you got Gek. Nah, that's not Gek now, is it? Who is it? Oh, he's gone to the pits anyway.
I think that's
Let's
the
see.
car Flyer who just went into the pits.
Yeah. Stillben. 148.
1.6 seconds slower.
A lot of people have set the best times already, and it's just, it's just sort of gone from there, hasn't it?
Yep.
Not really improved a lot. But again, the qualifying compared to actual racing, there's a lot of more factors in racing than there is qualifying. Whereas qualifying is just obviously who can go fastest, that sort of thing. The strategy with the tyres, the strategy with the actual sort of lines you take compared to qualifying lines is a bit different. And then obviously you can't account for other people around you and that sort of stuff. Also, your tyres are going to get a bit more wear from them. Although, saying that, most of these drivers are using tyres to the point where they become a bit useless anyway.
I feel like the reason why these guys aren't setting any faster times is because they're now pushing a little extra in the corners and they're just losing it.
We've got Stubborn coming around again, coming up to the sector 3.
Too, and there's a
Bowers-
very close car behind him. Is that?
Look at Bowers just set a time for 1:32. He was a 2:05, so he's just about to beat Stillben.
I hope these guys know that they have to start on the tyres that they've done their fastest lap on, because they are really wearing down their tyres here. Ooh, that is getting no spins.
I think Bauer is doing one lap on those softs and then coming in. Oh, Stillben's gone. As you just see him drifting off into the side. But Gekno's disqualified.
Also,
He was-
going the wrong way.
Driving back. He's got confused, hasn't he, on which way to go? Bless him. To be fair, France does that to you. It all looks the same.
It does, yeah. The stripes really don't help you.
Yeah, they are very similar. So it looks like Flyer is starting on his one lap all soft. Good news for him. Everyone else, I'm not 100% sure on the tyre they actually set the time on. I'm going to assume it's the tyre they've got on now. Apart from Stillben, I know changed tyres. Monty's trying to get a faster timing in his hards now. I think he may have left it a bit late for those hards to become better though. Although with the extra grip from the rubber and stuff, it might actually push him over the edge, but it's going to be a close one. We've got 30, roughly seconds of the qualifying left.
Yeah, I don't think the car of Stillben is going to make it around to set another lap.
Yeah, Monty's also just destroyed his wing, so there's no chance he gets out onto. He can go onto another lap, but it's just not going to be faster. You've lost your wing. I think that's just when you call it a day.
I think it's pretty safe to call it. I think we've got
Yeah.
Flyer in P1, Monty in P2. Bao and Stillben have really close times. It's a shame that they couldn't set another lap.
Yeah, I mean the back of the grid. The only outstanding, like the sort of outliers, the big ones. You're looking at Thrun, Gekno, and Connor. To be honest with you, in terms of the big gaps between them all, everyone else is relatively close. 150 to 144. You know, there's obviously a big difference between Flyer and Comrade Matt. But if you take Flyer out of it, 146 to 150, 4 seconds in it, with other people on the track, all to play for, really. And that's not to say like Thrun, Gekno, or Connor don't have a chance. In a race, anything can happen. But looking purely off qualifying times, they're looking to sort of be. That's where the battle's going to happen between second and sixth. Looking at the qualifying. So who would you say has sort of had the best showing here outside of obviously Flyer? You know what sort of you're going in from Flyer.
I'd say Monty has a really good chance here. Monty has a really good chance of the podium. I have no clue out of Bauer or Stillben who's going to make that third place, who's going to make that last podium spot. I think it's
The
an
one
man's
thing-
game between those two.
Yeah, the one thing I want to see is consistency rather than like setting the fastest lap that one time and then obviously it just being sort of that. Flyer is setting a new time. I don't think it's going to be faster. Oh, no. Close though, wasn't it? So yeah, that's it then. That's what we're looking at. That sort of grid table.
Someone once told me that it's easier to get a fast driver to be consistent than to get a consistent driver to be fast. And
That's the one who's slow. Probably agree with you, to be honest with you.
it's hard to get a consistent driver to break out of their habit and
Yeah.
and find the speed that they're looking for.
So that's the grid we're looking at. We got Flyer, Monty, Bauer, Stillben, Franklin, or Blood to Bleed, I think his name is on this. Comrade Matt, Blackthorn, Gekno, and Sir Conjo or Connor. There is a
Nice.
5-grade place penalty for Franklin or Gekno, I think. The track does look a bit darker. There could be a chance of rain in this. We'll have to wait and see as we load up for the actual race itself. So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a hard one to call, to be honest with you, because although Monty had that fast time, it was just that one fast time, and it's not, like I've said already consistently, it's not a fast time doesn't equal higher in the finishing sort of standing, because it just doesn't work like that. That's not what really racing's not about, just who can go fastest. As no offense, Trav, you're not the fastest driver on the grid. You've got like Carmen, like last season Flyer, but you still managed to finish first in the actual championship. I'd say mostly through good speed, obviously, but more through consistency. You didn't finish outside the top 10.
Yeah.
So, like I said, speed not always necessarily the greatest indication of where you're going to finish.
Not at all.
Will be interesting to see who bins on the formation lap. We got any couchies in chat?
I'd say you'd be in a good place if you bet on the last two. As harsh as that may sound, as Flyer drifts around the corner.
So as we said, Gekno did have a 5-grid place penalty for a collision with Franklin, I think. So that's why Gekno is in 9th and not 8th, in case you're wondering. So Connor's moved up that one place. Although saying that, Connor is also lagging behind considerably.
It looks like he slipped.
There's a good chance, isn't there?
As he completely misses the corner and passes through onto the straight.
Oh, there goes. If you don't know, with this track, there's a couple of dodgy corners, shall we say, that don't give you warnings and stuff. Warnings and all that sort of stuff isn't really like a massive deal in this race, but obviously try and avoid them where you can. Compared to that, we do have Monty has gone off as well. So Monty's starting on the hards. Looks like everyone's starting on the hards.
Looks like all these boys are starting on the hards.
So, do you think they're just going to try and go? I think someone like Flyer's going to go for hards for most of it, and then come straight back in, go for the softs, just set a fast time as well. To be honest with you,
the problem is when do you come in to change out? Because the softs last only for 14 laps. However, that doesn't necessarily mean you want to take those soft tires for 14 laps. So do we take the hard tires for maybe 20 laps and do the last 10 with the soft tires? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys come up with.
Yeah, I think for the likes of a lot of them, it's going to be you've crashed into a wall, repair your wing. Honestly, when you're sort of looking at tires and that sort of stuff. I think with Flyer, there's going to be a more defined sort of... Well, to be honest with you, Flyers, F2 cars can be nasty to anyone.
Okay, and that's Connor in. So we're waiting for the 5 lights to queue up. And then we begin the first race for F2, our draft race. As Gekno pops a drive-through penalty, Flyers off to a flying start. Everyone looks
First corner's the best.
Have gotten off with a solid start.
Front and Cameron Matt's got high up there. Connor's got high up there. Connor's gone. Oh, there's 2 cars gone, 3 cars gone, 4 cars gone. It happens.
You hate to see it.
So it looks like we've lost Franklin, Conrad, Matt, Connor, Gekno. They seem to be the 4 cars that have gone off. I imagine we're going to see them pit quite early on, to be honest with you.
And it looks like these boys are struggling now with the lack of their front wings.
Connor's just got... Connor and... I don't know what that was, but it was something. So it's going perfectly fine. Franklin's lagging behind a bit. So Franklin's the biggest loser in all this in terms of where he started. dropped down. I think he started in 5th, he's dropped down to 8th. It's a long way to fall. Monty, Bauer, and Steelbend have done really well, to be honest with you, in terms of staying on. The first lap is probably the hardest one to get down consistently. Because the tyres are coldest, there's not really that much rubber on the track. The track's also quite cold just because there's no cars going around it. So, well, Franklin saying that has gone back up to 6th. So far, Sir Conjo is on a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting twice. In a 30-lap race, it's not ideal to have 2 corner cutting penalties.
No, it's not at all. As the car front goes wide around.
So we got Flyer leading quite considerably. Good 4 seconds. Everyone expected this, to be honest with you. I think the main battle right now is between Bauer and Monty, with Steelbend not too far behind. You've also got Comrade Matt, Franklin, and Thrun all rather close to each other. But the 2nd to 4th battle is looking quite good. Franklin has come into the pit to get that wing changed, as suspected. I'm surprised Thrun, Gekno, and Connor's not made it around to the pit yet. Oh no, Gekno has also come in. Thrun's continued to stay out.
That is, for the cars of Franklin and Gekno, that's definitely the best option to take. It's not the option that you want to take at the start of a race ever, but it's best to get that new wing on and get back onto the track, safe and sound.
Speaking of getting back in there, though, Comrade Matt is slowly gaining on to Steelbend. He was about 12 seconds behind from last I seen, and now he's only 9. Still a long way to go. Over the course of it, as Monty does lose the back end a bit and loses his place to Bauer, keeps it on the track though, which is quite good.
And as you said, these cars are really, really hard to keep going in a straight line. These cars do not have a happy rear end at all.
Yeah, I suspect that first crash wasn't the only crash we're going to see today.
Definitely not.
My money's on that, at least anyway.
An hour of racing, what could go wrong?
So how many cars do you think we're going to finish with? That's a good question.
Oh, I think we're going to... I'm going to place a bet on 7. I think 7 cars will finish.
I can see Connor disqualifying for corner cutting too much, as he's already got 2 penalties in 1 lap. So it's not looking fantastic there, but Monty and Bauer come to the first corner. That's gonna... Monty's got the run on him. He come out, touching the curb a little bit. When I see racing like this, I hope for the cleanest racing possible, but Joey just got that feeling that something can go wrong. Although I think Flyers had that. Flyer looks like he slowed down a little bit then. I'm not too sure, but it was just the way the map was. Although Flyer is considerably ahead already. Looks like Conjo's close to getting lapped, as well as Gekno. They're not too far behind.
It is lap 3, so DRS is enabled. As we see these guys tow each other through the Mistral Straight.
There's a contact between them. And that's
no.
Steelbend's position to take.
It's just like you said, something's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and it just it's always heartbreaking to see. But it's still early on, so
they're still within good timings of each other. To be honest with you, there's still, the 6 seconds between them all, roughly from 2nd to 4th. Anything can happen in that time. All it takes is one small corner, one bad exit, and then you've lost that time. Especially coming up to the long straights, it's very easy. Conjo is getting lapped already, which we expect to see for new drivers. It's something that happens. Even now, there's people in the actual F1 race who get lapped around lap 3 or 4 anyway. So I wouldn't... If Connor watches this back... Oh, well, it's not looking good when your car's squirming like that, though. And the wall saved him a bit there. It doesn't look like he actually took too much wing damage because he sort of hit the wall on an angle rather than nose on. the one thing I do hope is that Conjo doesn't get in the way of Sturben, Bauer, and Monty's battle. Because it's always good seeing an actual fun battle.
It is always good to see a little bit of action.
Yeah, Sturben's kept his head on his shoulders. Conjo is sort of taking out the boards everywhere with them. They've gone onto the soft tyres, and I'm not quite sure if that is necessarily the best thing to do this early on.
It's definitely not. You know, you've already set yourself up for a very different pit strategy. Hello there, Cradden.
Hi. So yeah, we got so if you look at the lap times, you've got a 153.1 from Bauer, a 154 from Monty, and a 153 from Sturben. So they're all quite close in terms of fastest lap times right now. Obviously, you've got Flyer way ahead of the 150s. But you know, the one that's sort of out position really is Franklin with that early pit. He's kept his he's gone to a fresh pair of hard tyres, which is probably the right thing to do, to be honest with you. You want to make sure, you know, you're going off for the longest time rather than you've already pitted. You don't want to go into the softs and then have to pit again. You're just not going to get anywhere with that sort of pace.
Sturben is getting mighty close to the car of Monty here. Monty is squirming in his car. These two are getting pretty close.
Yeah, we do see. I think
Oh,
Bauer has pulled away quite a bit.
that's not going to be good as Sturben goes for the outside line.
Coming in, this is a interesting turn one situation. Just giving you flashbacks, Trav, to the weekend.
Oh no. No, but it looks like Sturben's taking him pretty cleanly as Monty comes back. Oh, outside, better exit out of turn 2. Does he go into turn 3 here? Looks like they'll follow each other in.
Good little battle going on. Quite, dare I say it, solid driving from both people. No really like just cutting each other off or anything like that, giving respect to each other, which is nice to see rather than just hitting each other.
You've cursed him. Not like this.
All I'm saying is you and Calm, you know, could have used that on the weekend, couldn't you?
Yeah, we definitely could have. As Monty goes over here with the DRS, he's going for the inside line for the chicane. Let's see what happens
He
here.
should have it.
And that looks clean.
Yeah.
Sturben went a little bit wide. And Sturben's just struggling with the traction. He's gone off. Oh, no.
Thankfully, no wing damage. He just has to watch out coming back on.
There is a car coming round, yeah. It looks like that car belongs to Connor. So he's unlapped himself. Whee!
Connor making big movements out here. So yeah, the thing is starting to settle down a bit now. You're starting to see a gap between everyone. Flyer out there, 15 seconds ahead of Bauer. You've then got Bauer, who's 6 seconds up, and we have just had. Is that Gekno?
No, it's the car up front that's gone off, unfortunately.
No,
Gekno
and Gekno and Conrad were coming down the back straight on sector 3, and there looks to be something happened, and Gekno's just slammed into the wall, basically lost his wing. We got Sturben. Oh, and Connor's gone.
Connor just giving way to Sturben before he had that little slip up there.
Yeah, so sitting down to him, is this sort of what you expected to see? Is anyone sort of surprised you in terms of how well they've done?
I did expect the battle between Monty and Sturben. I am a bit sad to see that come to a conclusion a bit early on. Hopefully Sturben can catch back up because I want to see those two fight again.
I think Sturben's actually got quite a lot of speed. From what I'm seeing here, he looked solid with speed. As you said before, maybe it's better to have a fast driver that's consistent. As Flyer picks up a speed penalty for multiple warnings, unlike Flyer. Well, is it?
I think he'll be fine. He's 17 seconds ahead. 3-second penalty isn't going to ruin his day.
No, I'm surprised how well Bauer's doing, to be honest with you. I know he has raced before, but he's not really been involved in much. He's kept himself to himself. He's been consistent. There was that one sort of where Monty sort of gave him a little love tap in the back, but he recovers quite well, and he's since then been consistent, not really had any incidents, which is quite good from him.
Yeah, Bao's a familiar face from season 1. He didn't have a good season. He unfortunately quit pretty early on at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But it's nice to see him come back to F2. He is a familiar face. I'm not sure how much whether it's the speed of Bauer or if it was the Monty Stallben battle that was happening that caused this 5-second gap. But I hope that Monty can catch up.
He's sort of been a bit consistent. He has put it down a little bit. He was, I think, 7 seconds before, so he has moved it down. Stillbend is slowly falling back a little bit. He was at 11 seconds. He's sort of gone back down to 13, but obviously there's 23 laps left. It's a long race. Anything can happen in those 23 laps. It's very easy to have one incident where it just spins and then your car's gone and then your tires are gone, and then for the next couple of corners you have to take it slow, because if you go on the throttle, your car is just going to veer off into the side. Especially when you start to go on off the track, it can cause a lot of issues. We do see Monty closing on Bauer quite fast actually now. He's already lowered it from 6 seconds, 6.3 seconds to 5.3 seconds. So looks like Monty's a bit more fast consistently in terms of actually using the track.
Ooh, as he takes a wide line again. But then that's to be expected with these F2 cars. They do have a lot less downforce than the F1 big brothers.
Yeah, it's very hard to judge your braking points on this.
It is.
I'm not sure with the F2 cars whether the racing line accounts for the F2 cars or accounts for the F1 cars. No one Codemasters, I imagine it's the F1 cars, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Which, if you are using them, brake a bit earlier, because it's not the sort of same braking distance. Konjo has come in for a fresh set of soft. Fresh set of hot. That should do him to the end now, really. Ideally, you'd want to go to the end on them rather than pit again.
So
Oh, go on, sorry.
What's the car behind here from Konjo as he gets blue flagged?
That is Flyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Konjo's spun off, but we have got Flyer. I think that's the second time he's left Konjo, unfortunately. But again, if you are looking at this and thinking, oh, Flyer is so good at this game. Flyer is a constructor champ. Did he win constructors with you?
He won Constructors Season 2 under Red Bull. Season 1, he took the Drivers' Championship while driving for both, I believe, was it Ferrari and Alpha? I don't know, I'll have to check. That was a long time ago. But
so basically, Flyer knows what he's doing. He was fast in F1. He's going to be fast in F2. He's probably one of the fastest drivers on the grid in F2, and he's probably one of the fastest drivers in F1, even right now. I think there's only really Calm who's sort of consistently as fast. So the main people you're looking at is Bauer, Monty, Stillben. Anyone basically below Flyer is sort of a new people into it.
Definitely.
Monty has lost a little bit of time. He was 5 seconds behind Bauer, and he's now down to 7. Stillben's consistently been at that sort of 13 seconds. And we've got Conrad Matt and Franklin who've got quite a bit of a gap between them.
So we're in that part of the race then, where everyone's nicely spread out. And
the good part about that is less incidents.
That is true. That is true. Well, it is quite easy for any of these cars to just slip off at any given moment. But
although Gekno has moved out of last place into 8th, so Gekno's stepped up one. I think that's down to Conjo pitting twice, as I think Gekno's only pitted once, maybe. I'm not too sure on the actual pits. Let's see. Stops. Yeah, Connor's pitted twice, and Gekno's pitted once, as well as Franklin's pitted once. Everyone else is. So there's a saying that Franklin's 18 seconds behind Conrad Matt, but he has pitted. So it's, you know, that time's there to be made up at least.
Thanks to the
There's
left
no-
front wing, Connor is gaining on Gekno here.
I think if Connor just stays consistently on the track and doesn't spin, he should be solid. That's obviously a lot easier said than done. As Monty does pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, that can be quite big. For Stuyvesant or Bauer, to be honest with you, depending on how the rest of the race goes. 3 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but in racing, it's a massive amount, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
not
it
ideal.
usually is a massive amount, but with the gaps that we're seeing, I think they'll be fine.
All it takes is one spin. That's all I'm thinking.
That is true. That is completely true.
Yeah, I've got Gekno pitting onto his hard tyres. I assume he's going onto hard. I can't imagine he's going back onto soft.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's got
You are
hard.
right. He is going onto the hard tires, as he serves a penalty here.
Yeah, he's speeding into the pit lane the first time. So in F2, you have less pit members. So pit stops are considerably longer. It's quite infuriating, to be honest, when you just sat there waiting to go and you're like, let me go, let me go, let me go. And you sort of see the speed. And then obviously you got your 5 seconds. So that pit stop's going to be a good 30 seconds worth of pit stop right there. That's just parked alone. Obviously you got to coming in and coming out where you're limited. So Connor's got quite a bit of a lead now. 36 seconds lead onto Gekno.
Saying that, he has spun himself out. Oh, is that the car up front? Also looking pretty darty over there. As they
Oh.
collide! Oh!
So that was Thrun and Conjo. Looks like Connor lost some wing. I think Thrun got away relatively okay from it, to be honest with you.
Connor, though, not having a happy time.
No, it's not looking great for him, is it? Oh.
It's not.
Again, you're new to the league. You're learning. It's a big learning experience. I don't think anyone's coming in and anyone's expecting you to sort of be amazing
sure.
at it.
These drivers are new and these cars are tough. They are really, really tough to drive.
So in case anyone's joining us and we don't really know what this is for, we have our own league that we run on the weekend in F1 cars. We had a surplus of people wanting to sign up for the league. And obviously with this game you can only have 20 actual drivers in it because there's only 20 cars. So with the surplus, what we've done is we've created an F2 league. And this is basically it. This is the draft race to show yourself off in the actual skills. Right now there's 14 captains watching. That's five, sorry. It's the captain of Mercedes, Brandon, captain of Red Bull, Travis, captain of Haas, Silverback, captain of Renault, Hodgson, and the captain of Williams, Callie. And after this race, we'll be doing a draft where each captain is going to pick 2 to 4 drivers in terms of who they want on their team. Not everyone who's in the draft is racing today, as some people couldn't make it. I think there's about 15 people getting drafted. So at the moment, we've currently got about 35 people racing across the weekend on different leagues, which is quite cool, to be honest with you. The fact that you got fit. A lot of people struggle to have a consistent 20. And to be fair, last season, we were lucky to get about 15, weren't we?
Yeah.
On an actual race. But I think every race bar one has had at least 20 people in. Which is, for something that's amateur and it's not sort of run, it's run really well, but it's not run sort of like how other leagues are in terms of what's in it and what's involved. It's actually done really well. But I think that's worked to our advantage, where you've not got sort of, because in other leagues you're expected to drive to a certain level in this league, but you're not expected to. If you're bad, no one's going to sit there and be like, get out the league, you're bad. It's a very sort of friendly community. So
We all want each other to improve, and it does frustrate me at times to see some people struggle, but I do want to see them get better.
some people. But yeah, so Monty again has brought down the gap from. Gekken was picking up the penalties here. Actually, to be fair to him, it's not looking great.
No, it's not.
Franklin has closed the gap down right to Comrade Matt. It was 18 seconds, now 8 seconds. Don't know if Matt's had a spin out or pretty impressive. You've also got Monty closing down to Bauer. It did go up to the high 7s, and now it's sort of coming down to the high 5s.
Looks like Bauer's slowing down.
Yeah, if I'm correct, you don't have to manage the fuel in these cars, do you?
You don't know, and everyone starts with a fixed amount. I believe that was 32 laps of fuel in
So everyone
each of these
should be
cars. Everyone should be safe.
Just wanted to make sure someone wasn't running in high the entire time and it's just, going to come towards like the last couple of laps and be gross crawling it. So yeah, so Bauer's put on a really good show, to be honest with you, consistency-wise. In terms of laps, we are looking, let's see, we've got lap time. So Monty is running at a faster lap time and is slowly gaining on him. But I think Bauer's just been that bit more consistent. Everyone's lap times from Comrade Matt to Flyer have been roughly the same. Obviously, Flyer's that couple of seconds faster. But honestly, there's not that much of a gap between Flyer and Bauer in terms of the fastest lap that I'm a big shock if you get me. Like, I'd expect to see Flyer like 7 seconds ahead, whereas it's only 3 seconds in the faster sort of time. So we have also got Monty still bringing that down. Comrade Matt has pitted as well, so we got Franklin, who's come out ahead now. So Franklin gone up into 5th, which I believe that's where he started. So as you're looking at it right now, it's what Monty and Bauer, and everyone is in the position they started in, which is actually quite incredible.
Yeah, like you said, except for Bauer and Monty, everyone else staying in their place, staying in their lane.
Yeah, the big one for me now is whether Monty can catch up to Bauer towards the end.
Yeah,
He
I
is
definitely
doing so.
don't see anyone catching the Prema of Flyer here.
Yeah,
So it's pretty much a fight for second place.
there's an 18-second gap between Monty and Stillbend. It is possible to bring that back into a pit stop, or someone spins out, depending on sort of when you do it. But it's obviously quite hard to sort of judge properly. Franklin being a minute behind, even if you spin out, it doesn't take you a minute to spin around. It's going to take a couple of sort of instances for you to catch up in that sense.
It is,
and then
but for these kind of gaps, I prefer to see the driver come to the end of the race.
Yeah.
I like to see drivers that bring their cars home without retiring the car or without breaking the car completely, absolutely smashing it into tatters. So if they bring it back, I'd be a happy chappy. I'd be a happy captain.
Do you know what's happening with the teams, by the way? Like, who's getting what teams? So obviously you've got Flyer in the Prema, you've got Bauer into the ART. Do you know sort of what captains are getting what, or is it just going to be a case of pick and choose?
So I don't know what cars the captains are going to get for in terms of like what teams that were going to be what's the word for it?
Picked.
As my brain fails to work. I'm not sure what teams we're going to get, but I do know the amount of drivers that we're going to get.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. All the cars at equal level, so it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to be like if you're in a Ferrari compared to a Williams, they're all going to be the same sort of. Well, they are all the same level.
Yeah, all F2 cars are equal. They're all the same model. The only thing that's different between these cars are the tires that are put onto them and the liveries. Besides that, they're all the same.
As we were speaking then, Comrade Matt has got back ahead of Franklin, even after his pit. Looks like Franklin's having a bit of an issue, to be honest with you. He's going very slow right now. Someone has just unlapped themselves with him. I'm not sure if he's got something wrong with him or his car's got a bit of damage, but Comrade Matt has got that lead back. Monty's just picked up another 3-second time penalty. So even if he does get ahead of Bauer, he's got to create a 6-second gap. As far as I'm aware, Bauer has not got any penalties. Let me have a quick look. Be honest, with you, a lot of Connors and Gecknos.
Ooh, as Matt goes off into the corner, I believe that was the car of Monty that just passed him.
Oh.
They nearly made contact, but Monty got away safely.
And that gives Franklin back to the lead. Well, not the lead, but the actual lead in the battle. So Comrade Matt's got a 3-second penalty.
Did you say Comrade Matt?
Comrade Matt's got one. Yeah.
Was there anyone else?
Franklin's got one. I'm not counting Geckno and Connor. They've got a lot, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So Monty's got 6 seconds. Comrade Matt's got 3. Franklin's got 3. Let's see. Comrade Matt got 1, and yeah, so it just looks like everyone's got a rough. Well, apart from Bauer's got none. Monty's got 6. Franklin got 3. Comrade Matt got 3. There are a couple of warnings in there, so there's could come down to penalties if the lower battles between like Franklin and Matt and Bauer and Monty, but I mean the way it's going, still Ben might be able to just if he keeps his wits about him. If he gets into a 14-second gap, not 14 seconds. What am I saying? If he gets into a 6-second gap, he can easily get into 3rd place. As much as he's like 20 seconds behind now, there's still a good chance that he finishes above that.
Yeah, it's pretty much a waiting game now to see when Flyer comes in to change for those soft tires, because these cars do have to use 2 different sets of tires.
Yeah,
so
I imagine we're going to start approaching the pit window in the next 5 to 8 laps. People are going to sort of come in and go into the soft tires, I imagine. As you said, the soft tires last, what, about 10 laps roughly?
They last 14 laps. I'd probably say that that Flyer might take him for 9 or 10.
If it was me personally, I'd want to pit around lap 21,
Yeah.
20, 21, 22. Sort of give yourself that sort of a gap. But there's a good chance that people sort of have issues. Comrade Matt's making massive time on Franklin. He's lowered the lead back to 1.8 seconds. It's going to be a good battle going into these sort of corners coming up now. Flyer's just got another penalty. Again, I don't think it matters. But Flyer's
quickly approaching Franklin here.
Yeah, I'll give it to Bauer. Although Flyer is 49 seconds ahead of him. They've done fairly well to keep up with him. For someone with Flyer's experience, at least.
They have, yeah, without being lapped. That is quite good. Bauer does enjoy these F2 cars. He does like them a lot more than the F1 cars.
Matt's got a good run into Franklin here. Come to this first corner. Don't think he can make a move into this, but I think on the long straight down the back, Franklin's just sit and duck at this point.
He is going to get DRS into the next straight, so we'll see if Matt can keep it consistent through Sector 1. We should see a battle on our hands.
Something to mention, they both have got wing damage, so looks like they're both missing end plate.
Oh yes, they do.
So the cars right now,
Oh
as Matt
no!
goes, he just had to keep it consistent for the next couple of corners, and I'm sure he would have had Franklin, to be honest
Just
with
a
you.
couple more turns and you would have had it.
That's unfortunate.
Damn.
He was doing his best, though. I respect that.
He
It was a good
was.
try. It was a good effort. There's still plenty of time to get back. He has made up gaps still. It looks like Monty's not really creating any progress towards Bauer at the moment. Bauer's got a pretty clean run into the end, and Bauer just stays consistent now. He should begin with second place. Same with Monty on Frank Sturben, to be honest with you. That gap is sort of stayed the same. There's been not really a massive leap forward or leap backwards from either of them. Everyone else is sort of miles apart in terms of actual racing. Although that is that Fly? Who's that spun out then? That is Gekno. Not having a great time, is he either? As he goes through that 10-13 board, nearly
That
hits
was
Franklin on the way
very
past.
close. That looked close to. Oh!
Oh, and he's
Getno's
gone.
driven straight into the wall. Okay, I'd say that's. I'd say
I
he's
think that
given
was
up.
pretty intentional. Yeah.
That looked very intentional. Yeah.
So Gekno's finishing where we started in pole position in ninth. Well, unless Konjo gets DQ'd, then I would assume it's different. So you got, coming back to making up the time again. He was 12 seconds. He's on 9 seconds now. I could see him making up the 9-second gap. I think Matt is a fast driver. He's not as patient as he should be with the car. So I think that's where Matt could sort of, as he sort of turns sideways a little bit. I think that's one area he could sort of like, if he wanted to focus on it.
Yeah, you can see him. You can see him improving. You know, he nearly had Franklin there.
Yeah.
If he just a little more patient.
To be fair, I know it's like when you're in a battle with someone and you can feel your heart sort of going for it, and you're just like, fuck me.
Yeah, you just want to catch the car in front.
Yeah.
You just want to.
You still get a bit of adrenaline rush, don't you? Which is like a weird thing to say because you're not racing, but
Yeah, you're not actually there physically in the car, but you still get that little kick.
especially when you've been battling with someone as well, and you're thinking in your head, I just want to get past this person, and your heart's beating, and you sort of just you see nothing else but like actually the road and that. I think it's one of the good things about sort of like the F1 games where, although it's not obviously real life, you get that sort of real adrenaline rush of just because you do in the actual F1 build, like the league, you not rivalries per se, but you sort of get like the rivalries in a way, but it's not, you hate this other person, blah blah blah. But there's usually people that are around the same sort of speed of you, and you sort of develop a rivalry with them, like you, Calm, Cradden. You sort of all.
You sort of gain a bit of respect between each other as you. I wouldn't say you want to absolutely pile drive the other car because that would be absolutely
Sometimes.
awful to do.
Sometimes.
Yeah, there are times where you see red, but you always want to pit them on track. You always want to do a little better.
It's so good when you get an actual overtake on someone and you've earned it, and you just think to yourself like, "Fuck me, I done so good then."
I sent
like
it there, yeah.
Like Cradden sent on you and Alex in Australia, although it was a bit cheeky. I can imagine being in Cradden's seat when you got both of you, and he just thinks like you just smash it out, and you just get that adrenaline, which is great.
He must have been shaking.
So Monty's fell back to 12 seconds now. I think Monty's struggling a bit. I assume people are going to start pitting now as we come towards the pit stop. Flyer already has. I'll be surprised if we don't see Bauer and Monty. And Sturben's made up quite a bit of time now. He's only 16 seconds behind, whereas he was 20 a couple laps ago. So this is a good time for him to go for it. Let's see the tyres. MCF Fly's going to the hards. Monty's paid and Bauer stayed out. I think staying out for one more lap's not the worst idea in the world. But you do want to go on to the soft soon. As well as Stillbend is also coming in.
I imagine these tyres are way past the halfway point by this, by 20 laps in. So, the problem is pitting so early on for softs. The softs burn out a lot quicker than the hard tyres, of course. So
yeah,
I don't know if you want to take them for the recommended 14 laps at all. Fly's only having to do 10, but still that's quite a lot for these soft compound tyres.
I think, unfortunate for Franklin, the instant early on is going to cost him here because he's going to have to pit. Well, saying that, Comrade Matt, has he been on softs? He's already pitted, but he has to use the softs as well, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
So I don't think he's been on the softs, which could be. Would you get disqualified for not using both compounds? I think you do, don't you?
You do get disqualified, yeah.
Yeah, so it's could be a bit of a awkward one. Speaking of awkward though, Stillbend's 6 seconds behind Monty, and with those penalties, there's a good chance he gets third here.
How many penalties does Monty have?
Monty had 6 seconds. Let me just go in, double check, make sure we're. So let's have a gander. So we've got 1 and 1 in. Stillbend. So Monty 3 seconds. 1 in. Monty another 3 seconds. That's 6 seconds for Monty. And none for Stillbend. So he has made up a bit more time now. As Bauer is also pitted for the softs.
He has indeed. Yeah, Stillbend was 6 seconds within Monty a lap ago, but it looks like he's fallen back a little here.
Yeah. Oh, so Matt has pitted again, even though that's unfortunate for Matt because he'd already pitted onto the hards. Obviously, you have to use both compounds, and he hadn't used them, so he did have to pit for the softs again. But unfortunately, that means that he hasn't gained that place on Franklin. So it's worked out quite well for Franklin, to be honest with you.
It has indeed. 20-second gap between the two cars.
I think Stillbend just needs to keep up with Monty, keeping that sort of gap. Monty has got another warning. So you know, it's not the ideal way to win it, and I don't think anyone wants to gain positions by by penalties, to be honest with you, because it's just not. It's not as fun as racing, is it?
It's not the way you want to win. Yeah, the way you want to win is on track. You know, with the overtakes and having penalties win you the race after everything is said and done. That's never the way you want to go.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have got stewards in the F2, which funnily enough, the F2 has actually got more production into it than the F1 has. Understandable, because most people who do in the F2 actually do with the F1, so it's, can't do both, can you?
No.
So maybe those penalties get overturned. It's hard to tell without the steward sort of saying. But as it stands, 6 seconds for Monty, no seconds for Stillbend is looking in favour of Still. We're going to have to find out Stillbend's name. I can't keep calling him Stillbend. I don't know what it means, but it doesn't make it. It just reminds me of something that's not
Bender
that nice.
of stool.
So who was that going like then? Was that Front? Yeah, Front was just letting Still past.
I have seen in the chat that his name is Connor, but that's even more confusing with Mr. Connor himself in P8.
I guess we're just calling him Still then, make
We're
it
calling him
easier
Still.
for everyone. So yeah, Still. So as it stands, no one's really gaining anyone. Thrun is going to have to pit again soon because those hards are going to be horrible towards the end. And I'm pretty confident he hasn't pitted yet. Yeah, he hasn't. So I imagine Thrun's going to be in this lap. Wait there. If Thrun's not pitted, oh, he's on 19. He's been lapped a couple of times. I was thinking, how's he not pitted and he's on 19 lap all hards? Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. So we're coming towards the end. Who have you seen and who's impressed you here? Who have you got your eye on?
I've got my eye on Monty and Storben. These two are absolutely cracking, you know, with a bit of refinement. I think these two can come far.
I think so as well. Honestly, I think Matt and Franklin would also be a good sort of project, you know. I could see them with a bit more time and a bit more practice. I could see them getting really good. They're both quite fast. And Monty's got another 3 seconds. Oof. So Still might actually just clinch that third, depending on penalties.
That is, yeah, that's 9 seconds of penalty if my math is correct. So
yeah,
he just needs, Storben just needs these 3 attempts. And he's got him.
it's going to be close. But yeah, I think Franklin and Matt, with a bit more work, a bit more refinement, could actually develop like into quite good drivers. Aside of like the people who obviously aren't here, like in terms of Quee and I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, Cadet, Session, it's sort of hard to tell where they're going to be, isn't it?
It is. Because you don't really have a gauge of where they're going to be. Like Flyer is a good benchmark for the top side of things.
Yeah.
Frun we've seen before in season 1. We've seen him in season 2 and early on in season. Did we see him this season? I think he was in China.
No, he quit last season. I think after France, to be honest with you.
Okay. My bad.
But he didn't quit. He was in the Haas, wasn't he? But he didn't sign up again.
Okay. Yeah, we have seen him before. I'd say he's a good benchmark for the middle of the pack. Although I'm not sure where he'd size up to now in season 3. Everyone had a pretty sizable upgrade on themselves. Not upgrade, improvement. That's the word.
Yeah. Everyone's improved a lot.
Everyone has improved a lot, yeah.
Even from me last season, it's the grid is a lot closer these days. I think even at the top, Cradden even coming into like his own where he's consistently he's putting a lot of pressure on you, Carmenella.
Yeah. In season 1 when he was on Red Bull with Tezzy, I never thought that he'd be taking me on, and
yeah.
Now,
I mean, even last season, you would think, and this is obviously no offense to he was a good driver, but he was a sort of Hodgson sort of area where it's like 4th to 6th, 4th to 8th type of driver. Now he's on his day, he can easily be like 1 to 3.
He could, yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, that's something that I do like, the fact that people in this league have improved. It's not like you can see people improving. Like look at Copy, got 4th the other day, was it?
Yep.
For a driver like Copy, like he's not really like he's seen as middle, but he's seen Copy sort of like solid driver for points. He's going to get you consistent points, not a lot, but a consistent amount. Whereas he just smashed it all of a sudden.
He does, yeah. He does have his bad days. Monaco, especially, like he does not enjoy that track. But Canada was a really good result for him. 4th place. He had an incredibly clean race, and I think that's on a day where he has clean air and he's just driving on his own, nothing to really worry about. That's where he gets good results.
So we do see still Ben go off the track there, which I think is going to take him out of contention for that penalty sort of awards. Although Monty's just got 12 seconds of penalties, so it's not anything could happen, I guess. It's unlucky for Steele because those 12 seconds is a long time to make up that gap. And sliding like that is obviously lowering those chances. Who would have thought?
They are all in call with each other, but Stillben might not know that Monty has 12 seconds of penalties. So
Yeah,
I imagine like if he doesn't know and he finds out after later on, he might be kicking himself that he didn't push just a little harder.
it's one of those, isn't it? You can push harder and risk it, but then you have that chance of just sliding off and then just being completely fucked with it, really, and you're just stuck in a corner.
That is completely true. It's up to the captains if you want to pick up a driver that pushes, or if you want a driver that you'll know like on the dot that they'll come around with a clean car.
To be fair, Bauer's looking solid as well. He's had that. He's been losing time to Flyer, but he's not been lapped, which is impressive. I don't think he's been lapped, has he? No,
He has
only a
not,
minute down. No. And Monty's been pretty consistently. Aside from the warnings and stuff, that's something you just got to work on. You can't really train people on not getting warnings. It's just something you've got to sort of do. And unfortunately, in this game, they do matter a lot. Yeah, you see in F1, I think Brandon gained 5 places on France from having a clean race compared to people like myself only having 6 seconds of penalties. It's a difference between finishing 8th and finishing 12th, you know? So, you know, Monty is looking solid in that sense, but again, one race isn't enough to tell if someone's going to be consistent with the warnings in the future, or it's going to be, you know, maybe France is just not sort of their chat, because the corners on this game are a bit booky at times.
They are,
as we all know. So we're coming towards the end. 3 laps left. It's been a bit of a quiet race, hasn't it? Really. There was a few hints of sort of, I want to say talent, but not in like that sense, where they're like Monty battling with Stillbend and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot to sort of take away from this.
There is, yeah. There was a spark between Monty and Stoll. I want to see more of that between these drivers.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to come in. Like when actual F2 happens, and you've got the feature race and the sprint race, where you've got the reverse grid. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of that sort of battling, like, you know, smaller battles in between them all.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, we did have that crash at the start, which unfortunately did involve Franklin, Matt, Throne, Conjo, and Gekno, I think. So it's hard to tell on Franklin and Matt sort of where they place themselves in the grid compared to these. Because without that crash, we used to say Franklin's not second right now.
Yep.
So everyone stayed fairly consistently in sort of their own places with their own time differences between them. Which is again, there's only been one movement since the actual qualifying session, which is Bauer and Monty have swapped places. Which again doesn't really tell you much of it. Like, you can take away, oh, Monty's a faster driver, Bauer's more consistent. So, you know, it's, as a captain, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for that sort of consistency, I'd say Bauer's, not that he's slow, but he's a bit more like, he's not as fast, but he's keeping it on the track and he's doing what he has to do. Whereas Monty looks like he's got a lot of pace about him, but is a bit more relaxed in terms of consistency. Because I think if you look at the times, yeah, Monty's at a 1:46. Monty's time is actually within a second of Flyers, which is mad impressive, to be fair to him.
What impresses me a lot is drivers like Conjo and Fran. I mean, they're a lap behind, 2 laps behind, and they're still going. They're still taking this
Yeah.
car around the track. I like that. I like how they're just keeping going.
Easy to lose motivation with this sort of thing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
And fair play to Connor as well. Is their qualifying time was, I think, what, 2 minutes and 10ish seconds. His fastest lap here is a 2 minute and 1 minute, 2 minutes and 1 second. Sorry. So when you think, you know, although it's obviously you might be a bit faster in race than you are in qualifying, bringing your car down, and the fact that if you actually look at him, he's spun out a lot less now than he was, say, 30 minutes ago when he was getting used to it.
When he was spinning out in nearly every corner.
Monty's just got another 3 seconds. That doesn't really come into play as Stubbend is 30 seconds behind, but that's 15 seconds of penalties right there. And that, you know, again, he's got a 1:46 fastest lap, which is by far the fastest outside of Flyer. I think the closest to that is, I can have a check here actually. The closest to that is Bauer on a 1:48. So Bauer's 2 seconds slower on the fastest lap time. But as far as I can tell, Bauer has got no penalties, which is quite impressive, to be honest with you. Because even Flyer's got penalties.
All you have to do is keep it between the lines. It's challenging.
It's a lot
even
easier
for
said
the-
than done, isn't it?
It is. It's challenging for even the highest races.
The qualifying on Fran, do you know the last corner on this? Like, you know, you come towards the finish line. I switched off for a second, and I was sorting my fuel and ERS out for the fast lap, and I just drove across I just cut the corner, and it ruined this lap and the next lap, and there was a 30 seconds left to set a lap. Oh, I was fuming, but it just takes a second of you like not sort of paying full attention to it, and that's it. You've got a warning, you've got a penalty, and your race can just be sort of decided on that, to be honest with you.
And it just crushes your motivation, really.
Yeah. But like you said, the fact that Thrun and Conjo have stuck with it for this long, especially with Conjo being 2 laps down, Thrun's only a lap down, is impressive because you're not really battling with people when you're that far back as well. But the fact that they've got into the rhythm and they've chilled out a bit, it's good signs at least. You're showing yourself in a good light.
Showing that
So
if you put in the time, you can do it.
But that's what you want as a captain. So you want people who, even when they're doing bad, aren't going to just give up.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
want to see that consistency. So we are coming towards the last lap. Flyer's going to be round soon enough. So I think I can mostly say that this is how the grid's going to finish. So you can have,
It does look like, yeah, Flyer for sure P1, Bauer for sure P2.
yeah. I forget that Flyer is finished. And he's not finished, but he has just
Has he just stopped?
he drove into a wall too early.
Oh
He
dear.
was trying to do when you spin across the line,
Yeah,
and he just drove into the wall.
but yeah, that's
um,
about it. Flyers come through the line. Just lapped Stallbend.
Yeah, Stubbend's finished.
It looks like Matt and Franklin are the next to come across. Both of
As far
these
as I
two
can
are 5
see,
seconds apart from each other.
As far as I can see, no penalties between them, so it should stay like that. So it looks like when you get Bauer P2, Monty P3, which is, apart from Monty, you expected, you said yourself, Flyer probably going to be P1, Bauer's probably going to be up there, P2 type of thing. Monty's done really well for himself. he's a bit inconsistent with penalties and stuff, but he's still done that. He's still got himself into that position where those penalties don't matter. Stubbend, I think he should take a little bit more risks, but apart from that, he done really well.
He did.
Unfortunately for Franklin and Matt, they had that instant at the start. It wasn't ideal, but they got back into the race and they didn't give up, which is key, really, because you can never account for an incident, and you don't just want someone who's going to give up after one crash.
I'm sorry. I was completely distracted by these drivers now doing donuts just before they come across the line.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they've all done really well. To be honest, it's gone a lot better. I thought it would be a lot worse in terms of skill. It's not being the highest class of skill I've ever seen, but I mean, you can still look at it and go, like, these people have, for what you'd think of new people coming in to a league, what they've done is, like, in my opinion, is good.
I was definitely expecting more crashes, more destruction. For only one car to retire, I'd say as well that's quite a good showing for these guys.
We only had that one major incident, really. Yeah, one of the start. You had a bit of a touch in between Stubbend and Monty, but aside from that, I'd say it's been a good, solid showing.
Yeah, it's been pretty chill. But yeah.
Yeah, you look at that. Connor had 43 seconds of penalties.
Oh, good lord.
So Bauer and Stubbend, no penalties, which is actually, like, quite impressive, to be honest with you. To have, like, no penalties at all. And then Franklin, Thornton, and Conrad Matt all had quite low penalties as well. Really good at them. So yeah, I think. Are we taking a short break before you go on to draft, or are we going straight on to draft?
We are going to take a short break while we get everything set up, and yeah, we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Excellent, we take those. So, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan, and
And
I've
I'm
got
Dan.
Dan with me.
Oh, yeah, and I'm Dan.
Yeah, Dan's game. This is
If it's not confusing, I'm the Scouse one and Dan's the Scouse one, so
yeah, we're both in Liverpool. We're both called Dan, and we're both incredibly handsome gentlemen. So, with those comparisons done, welcome back for a marathon casting session for other Dan.
yeah, it's been a bit of a long one, but it's worth it. It's been fun. Always
Yeah,
improve the
boy.
league.
Yeah, it's. I think you pointed it out during your cast with Trav. It's great to have like to see a league like this grow, and to have everyone, as Callie so elegantly put it to his date, Vroom on the weekend with the boys.
Yeah, we've got what now? 20 drivers in the main one and 16 drivers here. So 36 drivers in one league. A lot to
Yeah.
manage, but
Yeah, like
well
I don't
worth it.
envy Brandon and the team captain's workloads in having to deal with changing rosters, putting drivers in for both of the leagues, sorting out reserves, and then moving between. But yeah, we'll do our best to quickly explain this, and then we'll leave all the admin to him because then we can laugh at him. So the 16 names on our screen now. What are we looking at right now?
So what we're looking at is, if you see the draft pool, that is every driver. Not everyone raced today, of course. So that is every driver that is going to be going onto a team. And then the draft order is like basically the order of the pick. So in Rocket, we've got Rocket Williams, we've got Callie. In Rich Energy Haas, we've got Silverback. In Renault, we've got Hodgson. Aston Martin Red Bull, we've got Travis, who you were casting with me. And in Mercedes, you have got Brandon, who runs the league. So they're going to take it, one by one, picking the drivers. It's been decided on who picks who based on constructors, I think. So lowest in the constructors, I think, picks first, highest picks last, and then snake draft. So reverse from that order at that point.
Yeah, spot on. So Callie and Dan are Williams in F1. At the moment, they've got the lowest points, so they get the first pick in the first round. It's worth saying, by the way, that the 5 constructors that you can see in white, brown, blue, yellow, they are F1 constructors. So when, for example, Travis, who is the captain of Red Bull, when he picks an F2 driver for Red Bull, they are available as a reserve for F1, but right now, the intention is that they will drive in F2 for Red Bull. So at the moment, we've got 4 Red Bull drivers for F2, 4 Renault drivers for F2, 4 Merc drivers for F2, who don't appear at the moment. And then we've got 2 drivers each for Williams and Haas. So 16 drivers in total between our 5 project teams.
Of course, if you do know people that want to join the league, F2 is the perfect gateway to actually get into the real F1 league. At the moment, the driver seats are full, and the only way to start driving with the main F1 sort of group is to be selected through the F2 league. Brandon has, I think, spoke about that in the F2 information channel, which if you get the VL room role in VL, you will be able to see that channel and will be able to see the information there and how you sign up as well as the sign up form. And as far as I'm aware, you are allowed to sign up at any point, and obviously that'll be decided on what teams go to who throughout the season, rather than it just be, I want to be on this team. You'll get chosen a certain way.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get a lot more streamlined at the end of the season. So at the moment, we're 8 races into 21 races in Formula 1 Season 3. At the end of Season 3, which I hope will be at the same time for Formula 1 and Formula 2, we'll sort of redraft, and at that point, everything will go a lot more fluid. I won't explain it now because that will make things more confusing. Right now, all we're doing is picking F2 drivers onto teams, and we're going to have those F2 drivers be in sort of their own localized pool, and the only time they're ever going to appear in F1 is if someone can't make it and they need to be emergency drafted.
Yeah, again, as Braden said, there's a lot of information, a lot of rules, but it is all being explained in the information channel. And as you do get picked today, those captains are there for that reason. If you have any questions, you speak to them. They'll be able to help you out. A lot of people in the community love helping other people. Like, a lot of people have joined. I know from when I started, I had Brandon and Cradham both helping me. And obviously I've improved a lot since then. So any questions, whoever you get picked by, it works the same way. Just speak to them.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic community. If you're in a call, we often do 5-lap races, or as we call them, 5-bappers, on a lot of nights that aren't the races. And it's just a fun occasion, a bit like when we do ARAMs in League of Legends. Okay, so let's have a look at a few of the names we've got tonight. So hopefully you've seen a lot of them in the draft race if you were just watching. 9 of the 16 drivers on screen in the draft pool did take place in the draft race just then. So going through, we had Gekno, who finished 9th, didn't finish the race. Let's see if he can get things right in the long term. We had Thrun and Sir Conjo. They were fairly slow, but managed to complete, show a lot of perseverance. Moving up to the midfield, we had Blood to Bleed, also known as Franklin, and Matt. Franklin is a reserve driver in F1 at the moment. Moving further up, we had a really nice battle between Monty and Stolbend. That was great to watch. I think you enjoyed that one as well, Dan.
Yeah, it reminded me of F1, where you look at it and you think to yourself, it ain't the world's most fantastic driving, but it's entertaining. Sometimes that's like all you need, isn't it? Bit of entertaining. You don't need to always be amazingly consistent in terms of between the lines and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and it was quite a difference as well, because Stolbend had no pens, no warnings, completely clean, but Monty had the big fastest lap, so it's almost the two sides of driving. Then go on, Dan.
Monty, in terms of lap time, was a 1:46 and was less than a second slower than Flyer.
Wow.
Which, although he wasn't second first, that still says a lot for someone who's, as far as I'm aware, is new to the game, and he smashed it out of the park with his fast times at least.
Yeah, I don't know Monty at all. I think he's one of Glenn's friends in real life. But if he hasn't played Formula 1 or 2 before, that's a really fantastic showing. Yeah, moving up to the top, Flyer and Bauer. I don't think there's too much more to be said apart from Bauer.
Solid drives, wasn't it?
Yeah, solid. Bauer is great. He actually won a race in VL Season 1, VLF1 Season 1. Showed up really strongly today. And then Flyer is the Spanish god with slightly mortal internet.
Yeah, I think his internet's a little bit better at the moment. So, who do you think? Who are you looking at there thinking, they're going to get picked first? I think most people look at Flyer and think Flyer's going to be one of the first ones to go, isn't he?
Yeah, if Flyer doesn't go first, I'll be surprised. In terms of race order, probably the way in which race order will be changed. Stolbend's probably a good shout to get picked earlier because he was really consistent. I think Franklin and Matt are good choices. Franklin did appear in a Monaco practice session and was pretty good. But I want to see Thrun and Conjo get picked up because they were really consistent, especially towards the end as well, without many penalties. The drivers who aren't here, by the way, just a quick list in case you know them. We've got Val, also known as Chime Bright or Mushroom, who plays League. And streamed the League series earlier tonight on the other VL stream. We've got Cadet, who is Sesh's mate, or Zappies, you might know him. Serenica is Franklin's bot lane partner on Centurion Academy. Wolsey plays League for CNT in Division 1. Harshy is a long-time League coach and coached 7 Deadly Sins. Kui was a 7 Deadly Sins player and now supports for Plague, who are in Division 1 and VL champions. And finally, Cliff, who was on the split-winning team World Save Lives Red. He's now moved to his own league team in Horizon Shadow. So a lot of really good league players there. We'll see how well their motor skills transfer across, no pun intended. You can see all 16 on screen. Back at you, Dan. Do you think there's anyone who we haven't seen in the draft race who could really come up early in drafts?
I think Cadet's done a bit of racing with the impressive sort of side of it before the actual F2. And then you've got, as far as I'm aware, I don't know how other people drive, to be honest with you, because I've not really seen them outside of that. But I think sometimes risks work out, don't they? So you'll see who does what.
Yeah, going to be a lot of surprise packages. We've got a few picks to talk through, and we've got the captains with us. So I'm going to introduce them again as they appear, but let's get on with the draft because I can see a lot of mute buttons in chat. So, Dan, can you take it away? Let's introduce our first captain.
So just before we get into that, we have got information. We have got little things that come up so you know who's speaking. We have set them up, so Travis will bring it up now. As you see on stream, we've got the Rocket Williams racing. So that's going to be Callie, if Callie wants to say hi.
Go on, boys.
Big man Callie, representing Williams.
Well,
So talk us through your thoughts. What are you thinking?
Well, after watching that, let's be honest, it's a bit of a shit show. So, so it's just going to be a bit of a laugh, and if anyone picks Flight or a Virgin, but that's my opinions on it so far.
Representing Williams, by the way. So go on. Who
A special shout out to Milky Cereal in the chat. Any job centers in it.
big ups, my mans. So have we got any? So what are you gonna go with? Who you thinking?
Phew. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go with Franklin.
Big Frank.
I tell you what, he didn't even win me over with his driving. He won me over when he said after the race, "Fuck it, this is actually fun." I can appreciate a man that enjoys himself.
To be fair to Franklin,
And also he's I've bot laned against him enough times, and it's about time that he be my bitch instead.
to be fair to Franklin, I don't know how well he would have done without that crash at the start. He could have been up there, but the crash at the start took him out. So he could also just be a speed demon.
Could definitely be. And also, I know he's got a wheel, and it's the same wheel as mine, so I might be able to fucking give him settings and shit. Might help him.
Yeah, so that's the first one down. So we got Franklin or Blood to Bleed over to Williams. What do you think of that, Brad?
Yeah, really nice pick. I totally thought Callie was going to go, as he so greatly put it, the Virgin route and go for Flyer. But yeah, Blood to Bleed, great pickup. From what I could see in practice, fairly consistent. Not quite as hot on the pace as some of the other drivers in draft race, but a nice pick to develop. And a lot of these captains will be picking with an eye to F1 next season. So great pick. Okay, let's move on. So our second pick in the first round is to the Haas constructor. We'll see if we can get their graphic on stream any second now. And their captain is my man Silverback. Is he in call?
He is in call indeed.
Hell yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm right. Interesting race, right?
Yeah. Any immediate thoughts on the race?
There was a nice pack from, or not pack, but a nice group, I suppose, grouping, from like 2 to 5, I'd say, with like some really consistent drivers there. So yeah, I think some of them could be decent for even next season in F1. But
I think they all showed a lot of consistency, to be honest with you. Like they were all, from what I was expecting a lot more spinning out and less actual driving and more just wee.
Yeah.
So I think they were pretty
some
definitely
people consistently cutting corners as well. But
yeah, we take the rough with the smooth. So with Haas, you've got 2 picks. It's going to be a while till your second one.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking to do with this team? Just sort of get a good pairing with your 2 drivers, or are you looking to have the best possible players in Haas next season?
So I think that I'm going to go with people who I think are like have a good baseline and would be easy to develop, or not easy to develop, but they would be a project to develop, I suppose. So I'm not going to go with people who are like too fast, like Flyer, for example, because they're way better than me, and it would be like they would be teaching me more than it would be sort of us being on this journey together. Yeah. I'd rather pick somebody who like can actually help either get a bit faster on every corner or maybe not cut a corner so much. So I think that's going to be...
Is that a hint to who you're picking?
It could be.
Okay. Yeah, you did it with WSL. You did it with PTSD. Who's going to be the next player to be coached by the Silverback himself?
I'm going to flip a coin between 2. Because my 2 picks would have been Stillbend and Monty. So I'm going to flip a coin, and heads is going to be Monty, and obviously tails is going to be Stillbend. So the coin is flipped, and it is heads. So I'm going to take Monty.
So Monty over to Rich Energy Haas, eh?
Yeah,
not bad.
I thought the live coin flips on stream ended with WSL, but we keep it going into the draft.
No, I mean there's still a Kism with Kism Bramfield CNT, so
the new
Nice.
WSL.
Well, Monty, congrats. Your second pick. You're going on to Haas, and we'll find out your partner driver later. Dan, bring us a Renault captain.
So next up, we got the big man himself, Big Bodgers. If you don't know Hodgson, then you will do soon. Anyone who gets him as a captain is a... Honestly, as much as we meme Hodgson, he's a good lad. You hear, Hodge?
I'm here.
So what are your thoughts? Are you thinking Are you thinking more the Silverback and Cali route, or if you'd rather have someone who's not necessarily the fastest in the world, or would you rather have someone who you can work with, get them better, develop them, or someone you just maybe you like as a person? You want that sort of relaxed environment. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, it's funny you actually say that first sentence of someone who looks like they got, something that I can work with, and they've already shown up within the race. But the two drivers that I was actually intending on wanting to pick were both already picked already. You kind of stumped me on that one, you two. But at the end of the day, one thing I need to secure is the future of what I want to be doing in Renault. And right now, I think, the F2, I don't even know whereabouts I'm going with this, but
just keep talking. We'll keep silent, so it's better. Go on.
Yeah, 2 hours later.
This is Love Island speech again.
I've thought about either bringing someone up or trying to work with someone who already, has got it. And I think I've already got someone who I can teach a bit. So maybe if I have an extra driver who knows what they're doing, it would be probably more preferable. So I'm going to be the virgin, I guess, as Callie said, and pick Flyer.
Who are you picking?
Yeah.
You cut off then at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, Flyer.
Oh, you're picking Flyer.
So let's get this straight. Hang on. Hodge just picked Flyer because he wants someone who he can teach.
No, I said I've already got someone who I can teach.
All I'm saying is it's that Alfa Romeo partnership once again.
So have you got any words for Travis on stealing his family member? Any words? Yeah, you just stole one of Travis's boys.
I used to have Flyer first. He was mine originally.
All right. Flyer's a good pick, to be fair. Solid. You're going to get okay with.
Yeah, Flyer is fairly consistent. And you know what? When he strings a few laps together, he can get about good midfield, maybe. He can probably... You know what? After about 4 races, I reckon he can get in a position to earn points.
It's going to be a tough one, I think. Consistency with Flyer, isn't it? Whether he has decent internet or not.
That's the big question. Flyer, to anyone who hasn't seen the draft race or any F1, is godlike level fast. Only Trav or Calm in F1 can really match him for short stints, but Flyer really smashes us all in every aspect. The only time he doesn't is when his Spanish internet comes in, and then there's 4 Flyers all over the track, and they all crash you into a wall at the same time. So that's going to be the linchpin. We'll see if that applies or if he's going to another location. But for now, the fast Spaniard is going with Hodgson in a repeat of Season 1. We're going to bring in our next pick for his first pick in Round 1. It's Red Bull captain and Season 2 drivers champion. It's my boy Travis. How's it going?
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. There was a guy who did the cast of the race that sounded a lot like you. I think you've been hired by Scots.
Yeah, I love Scots, man.
Yeah, boy. So I think the real question about this draft that I wanted to ask you is tell us about how you finished P6 in Suzuka.
Oh yeah, it was a tough battle, and I seem to have mental boomed the red line into absolute destruction and annihilation. So
yeah, have you got any words for Tom Roberts, who is now without a community?
You're my bitch.
There we go. That's what we wanted to hear. So what some drivers might want to hear is that you're picking them. Have you got any drivers who caught your eye who maybe you're not picking right now?
No, I'm picking them right now.
Okay, straight to the point. Take it away, Trav. Who are you going for on Red Bull?
Give me that Stallbend boy.
Hey, there he is. So Stillbend, absolutely no penalties. I think Glenn did the same in the draft race for F1 before the season.
Yeah.
Stillbend went really clean. Finished 4th behind Monty. Definitely had the pace. Nearly there on 3rd and not far away from Bauer in 2nd. Showed up and should be a good pick. Yeah, Trav, do you think it's an F1 prospect, or are we going to wait a few races and see first?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so with that Red Bull pick out the way, it's time for Dan to introduce my captain.
So again, a bit like Bodgers, big meme in the league. Can already hear him breathing. Brandon, how's it going?
All right,
Brandon?
you know, captain of the best project team, by the way, which is my last pick. You know, small flexes.
Wait, you
Well,
took
yeah,
over
but let's
Ferrari.
be. We are talking, you know, Credden and Calm. Is the
Also,
reason.
Hodgson Flyer was my teammate first, just to put you back in your box a bit.
Handbags
He
away,
existed in the
ladies.
league when he was there.
Yeah, because I was on Ferrari with him for like 3 races before he left, and then I won the trophy.
Okay, so before this turns into a video call where me and Brandon have to show our constructors' trophies again, Dan, to just get Brandon back to the point.
So yeah, we are here for the draft pick and not about who's best in F1. So Brandon, who are you? Who you looking at? Anyone you've got your eye on?
Yeah, all the people that have been picked, plus 1 or 2 more.
Oh, so out of everyone who's been picked, who would you have picked? Aside from would you go with the obvious flyer, or would you have gone
No,
with someone
Stulben
else?
would have been my first choice out of all of them, which is why I thought Travis might not pick him, because I thought, if he's got this far, then he might get a bit further. Rip. So I guess we're going with backup plan.
So whoever gets
B
picked is no,
and
you're a
D.
backup.
Well, no, one was the second pick. My second pick is not my first pick, and then my second pick was something further down the order.
By the way, whoever Brandon's picking right now, this is the kind of mental maths he'll pull when he's deciding your pit strategy.
Brandon, you are picking 2, by the way, just so you know. You
Yeah,
got the double
basically,
pick.
I got freeload for the next little bit.
Yeah.
Snake draft
Um,
skills.
Go on. Who would you go for? Who's going to be your first pick at least?
First one will be Matty or Matt, whatever he decides he wants to be called.
Cadet Matt or Comrade Matt, is it? I think his name was.
Yeah,
Why are you
he drove
picking
a
Comrade
yellow
Matt?
car.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah.
How come you picking Matt? What are your ideas with it?
He the gap between him and I can't remember who it was. He was chasing a red car, I think.
It
Was
was.
consistent.
It was.
Was it a
Franklin.
blue car? Was it
Yeah,
Franklin?
it was Franklin. Yeah.
Even after Franklin's spin, I thought Franklin had good pace. So if you could keep up with Franklin, even though Franklin was further down the order because Yeet lap 1, then it probably means he's got pace.
So
I
we're
think he
getting
was
to
caught up in the pile-up, but
yeah. So we're getting to the territory of drivers who aren't necessarily in the draft race. So it's becoming a bit sort of unknown on who you pick, and more of just I know this person from the community type of thing. So are you gonna? So you for your second pick, are you gonna go for someone who's in the race? Are you gonna go for more of an unknown sort of look on things? What are you thinking?
well, I mean, there's still Bauer. Technically, I suppose, if I need to be desperate enough.
Shout out to Bauer. No,
Hi there,
offense.
No, I'm kidding. I think
He
not
isn't.
to not pick Bauer because questionable mental aside, he's got pace. So I
He
think
did
I'll
have a
go
lot
for
of
the
pace.
pace and fix the mental bit because it's easier. Okay, it's not easy to teach mental. It's easier to keep someone entertained than it is to train someone new, at least until season 4.
So we're going for Bauer
Again,
for
anyway.
Mercedes, am I right?
Yeah, let's go with Bauer for now.
So you've got Comrade Matt and Bauer going to Mercedes on the team. Solid team, to be fair, both pace lords in that race then. It's a good one.
Yeah, nice proven qualities as well, of course, both in the draft race. And that's the point you brought up, Dan. All 6 top finishers from that draft race have been picked in the first 6. So not only is it good to be good to turn up to a race if you want to be picked, also we're now running to an interesting point where captains have got to consider who turned up versus the potential performance of drivers who they've never seen race and don't know how their mental or desire to play is going to be. So that's what's going to make the second half of this draft a nice little spectacle. Either way, that's Brandon's first half of the snake draft done, and we'll see him again in about 5 picks. Before we run to Harson Williams' final picks, we've got a couple more to go through. So let's bring Trav back for his second round.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, yes. So, Trav, you've already picked Stuhlbend. Was your eye on Matt or Bauer for the second pick?
It was on Matt, and not on Bauer.
Nice. Shout out to Bauer, by the way. So, you were very convinced with Stoolbend first time round. Have you
Yep.
had a bit more deliberation, or do you definitely know who you're going to pick? Have you got it mapped out?
Nah, I have no clue what I'm doing.
I like it. Shout out to Charmander, by the way, who races with Trav regularly. Okay, so Trav, give us a bit of a mystery on this one. Are we still going to go with the draft race performers, or are you going to take a bit of a gamble?
Let's gamble.
I like it.
Ooh, roll the
Without
dice.
further ado, who's Red Bull F2 number 2?
Give me Kui.
Oh,
big
there he
queen.
is. Charmander's gonna love that, and let's not explain why on stream. Charmander, who is using Kali's voice, turning up and yeah, decrying that one. Kui, a great League of Legends player. We'll see if he can extend that to Vroom Vroom motor cars as we move into the F2 League. Kui, the Plague support in VL Division 1, is going to be joining Stoolbend and an expanded Red Bull project in F1. So Travis, Charmander, Pyro, and Law. A great heritage there. We've got Kui in the mix, and he's the first pick of the drivers who did not turn up to today's draft race. So that is Red Bull looking very comprehensive. Dan, take us over to the boys in yellow.
Now you got Big Bad Budge again. Budgeson, here you are.
Hello.
So now the draft pool's looking a bit thin, a bit shallow in it. More like armband territory. Who are you thinking?
It's thin, but there's still.
There's still quality there.
There's still picks and there's still potential. There's always potential.
So far left, we've only got Gekno, Thrawn, and Connor, who was actually in the draft race. So that means you got Val Cadet, Stenrika, Wellesley, Harshy, and Cliff, who we actually know nothing about. So what are you going to do? You're going to follow in Trav's footsteps and roll the dice, or are you going for someone you're seeing?
I wouldn't know if it's really rolling the dice, but I want someone who's gonna be, good for, I guess, positive relations with who's already within the team. And one thing I already know is that a good friend of Sash's is Cadet. So I would like to pick Cadet because I know that they might have some good synergy working together.
So you've got Cadet and Flyer. Solid team. I don't know how much Cadet. I don't really know much about Cadet, to be honest with you. You've raced in one F2 race in the Impressors League, and I've seen him. Seems like an alright guy, though. Seems at least he's, regardless of speed and skill and all that, he seemed like an alright guy. So you got that going at least.
Yeah, doing Cadets. Yeah, Cadets really shown up well when we've done like the Nogga League of F2, and I think he's a bit shy according to Sesh, so he hasn't appeared in like the community calls. But he's absolutely got pace. He's given Carlos a run for his money at F2, and that's saying something. So yeah, Flyer and Cadet, what a great pairing. It's probably the best case we've got for flipping an F1 and F2 team around with Renault, but we'll move on. We've got Haas coming up next, and Silverback's chuckling there. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, boy. So at the moment, Silverback and Rock is the current Haas team. We've got Monty in there as well for F2. Now, Monty needs a friend, and it is going to be your last pick here. It's only a two-man team you're going to get. You've got a couple of picks. How much is your draft plan surviving? Have a lot of your targets gone, or have you still got a few names to pick from?
I've still got a few. There's obviously like a few that I was having my eye on, but they were never going to get through this far. There's two more people that I'm looking at, and it's very hard for me to decide.
Is this another coin flip?
It might be. They're both ex-teammates of mine on League of Legends teams.
Very coin flip. Then.
So
I think I know who you should go for.
So personally, it's between Cliff and Wellesley.
I like it.
Cliff, obviously, I won a split with last split on WSL Red, and Wellesley the split before. Same thing. So
weird flex, but okay.
Hard.
I just want to point out there is another teammate in there that you did win something with. Has he not come up yet?
Harshy?
Yeah. You're not thinking about.
I'm not being funny, but I watched Harshy play F1. And he plays in like the lowest res possible, and it looks like an arcade game from the 1930s. So
It's a great advertisement for Harshy for any captain that wants to pick him up.
Yeah, if you could actively destroy someone's chances of getting drafted, I think that'd be the way to do it.
Do you know how it's Lena was with Dardoch saying that no one wants him?
yeah, true.
Silverback is
I
basically
did it
in
for
there.
Hershey on stream, but I mean, some other people did it for themselves in the race. So
That's fair enough. So go on.
Okay, so with several league teammates to pick from, and only one pick left to partner Monty, who's it going to be?
it's heads for Cliff, and it is heads. So Cliff to Haas.
Cliff the Hat.
Yeah, with a Renault double pick coming up, we could have had the Horizon double of Connor and Cliff. We might still have another duo coming up, but we'll get to that in a second. Either way, we've got Cliff going on to Haas, so Silverback Rock, Monty Cliff, that is a project to be reckoned with, and that should be a really nice pairing in F2 as well. We'll see how good Cliff is. He's a solid support. Let's see if he can be a solid support to Monty. Okay, so with Haas out the way, I'll bring it over to Dan for his home project.
And yes, we got the big man, big up my man's Callie again. How are we? You little brum boy. Callie, hello. Hello, Callie.
I'm
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm all right despite the tilt of some little fucking bastard stealing Quee.
I'm judging you for this.
No, my next pick was probably Cliff because he's a bit of a shithouse, and I like that. It's quite funny. So he was up there, but fucking Alex can enjoy his Monty Cliff though. Fucking sounding ass.
Excellent.
How long? To be fair, I really think he should have took Dan's advice and listened.
I respect that. So, are you looking at? Are you going to go for someone who's in the race?
You see, there's like I don't think there's a bad choice. That's the thing. I don't think there's a singular bad choice.
Well, according to Alex, there's one.
Actually, to be fair, I did see the arcade racer screenshot.
So, God, you thinking then?
Oh,
Who's joining the boys in white?
I don't
Who's
know.
joining the clan?
You know what? Fucking.
Don't say that.
Monka C.
Who's joining the crew?
Monka C.
I feel like that a perfect person to rep the white is someone who's been on a team with Drigger. So get in there, Wellesley.
Oh, big man Wellesley.
Get in there, Wellesley. Come on.
So, as far as I'm aware, that means that Williams is full British.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
like
how it
to
should
see.
be. Brexit
Yeah.
means Brexit.
Just to confirm, the clan Cully was referring to as the Williams clan.
Oh yeah, Williams clan, of course.
Yeah. So we've got Callie and Dan all repping it in F1. Big duo. Callie's sort of washed up a bit, but Dan's carrying them. No biggie. We've got Franklin and Wellesley down in F2 as well. What a great duo. We could have had Franklin and Serenica. They're a bot lane in F1, but Serenica's been naffed off by Callie. That's sometimes how it be, you know. And Williams is complete as well. Okay, we're back to our boy. It's Trav, third pick time, and the pool is looking very, very thin indeed. We've actually still got the bottom three finishers from the race, so Geknokon and Thrun still left to be picked. And alongside that, we've got Val, Serenica, and Harshy, three players who we haven't seen in the draft race. Trav, there isn't a coin available between 6 people, but have you got a dice to roll?
Naji.
No dice required. Was it just a straight pick? Do you have any deliberation, or do you know who it is?
Not Hashi.
So there we go, Hashi. 2 captains have effectively told you to do one. Can we make it 5?
Brandon's sweating right now. He's sweating with that last pick.
Trav, which non-Hashi player will be your third pick in Red Bull?
I like Fran, but I think I'm gonna take a risk again. I'm gonna pick a name that I haven't seen yet. I'm gonna take Val.
Nice.
Shine bright
like a diamond. Yeah, there's a
Stimp.
Val or Mushroom. We'll see if there's Mushroom for improvement on Red Bull. There's certainly enough coaches on there. I had to do that one. And
he does seem like a fun guy.
Okay, shit puns aside, Val has got a lot of players to learn from. Like, Red Bull is a really great call to be in. If I couldn't be on Merck, I'll not complete that sentence because Williams will beat me up if I finish it. So Val is joining Red Bull and a really nice team. I hope she does well, and she'll be competing in one of the biggest teams alongside Merck because they have 4 drivers in both F1 and F2. Okay, so we're going to bring in my boy, my B to the O to the I. It's Brandon.
Wagwan.
Yo, dude. So there are lots of draft picks that you've potentially encountered, and the other captains have filled every last one of them. For round 3, who is going to be your Mr. X?
Do you know what? Hasn't been picked yet, so I think we're Gookie. Should we take the last of the boomers and take Serenica? Because he was going to race today but couldn't because of other issues. But that means the intent is there, even if it was only held off because of a severe uncontrollable issue. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we thought we were going to see a Frank. Actually, that's a good question, Brandon. We've got Serenica on Merck with us, and we've got Franklin sitting over in the bad driver camp with Dan and Williams.
Still Ben's in with them as well.
And still Ben's another.
Yeah.
So they're going to be battling between Williams, Red Bull, and Merck, which, to be honest, is the 3-way fight for the F1 championship as well. So how do you think that's going to battle on track?
I think it's quite good because it's 3 mates that are going to like try and beat each other. So there's the motivation for each of them to sort of one up the other.
Yeah, it's a pretty good
like a nice little 3-way rivalry without having racing rivals. It's just a natural rivalry.
Yeah, should be a fun one. I mean, let's see if Gekno goes to another team, and then you'll have Blaze versus Gekno, and more about that in NSK chat. Okay, so Serenica going on to Merck. So Merck, it's myself, Calm, Tent, and Brandon in F1. Now it's Matt, it's Bauer, and it's Serenica in F2. So one more Merck driver to be announced. And for a double pick, an all-special double feature, we're going to take it to my boy Hodgson. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Nice. So, Hodge, you've got Flyer, you've got Cadet, you've got 2 really fast drivers. How is it looking? Are you seeing any drivers that have survived the picks? Or is this sort of making the best of a bad situation for you?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, because obviously, from what I saw in the race, things obviously didn't go well for certain drivers compared to others, but it can't be something I've got to just, take as that race, and it can't be any better, So I've also got to take into consideration what I could also teach them. And then on the other hand, I know Franz had plenty of experience within F1, but the problem that I can think of for Fran is that Fran hasn't always lasted the whole season in F1.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about drivers who we know from F1. It means they've left at some point and come back. So you're right, that is a disadvantage, but it's one that you have to weigh up. There's 4 drivers there and 2 to be picked. So give us your first pick, Hodgson. Who's number 1?
I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to trust that since other people have been showing up this season better than what they have previously, I'm going to hope that Fran can do the same, so I'm going to pick
a veteran throne, eh?
Yeah.
Not a bad pick, to be fair.
Coming back, Redemption Ride, Flyer, Cadet Throne. They've all got 5 letters in the name. Let's see if they'll pull out 5-star performances.
Yeah. I think with a bit of time, Front can improve quite well, to be fair, especially with the right person there. Give him a hand. He's got Flyer there as well to help him.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. So with Connor and Gekno, we have the 2 bottom finishers in today's draft race. So that's one reason why people might not want to pick these drivers, because they didn't show up in terms of pace on today's draft race. In the other corner, you've got Harshy, who 2 of our captains have literally said should be last pick and has like 3 pixels. So really, it's not great at the moment. Like, if you're a driver in this pool, you're getting BM'd from all directions at this stage. So I really want to see our captains try and defend why they've picked these, apart from our last one, who'll be left with one of them. So we go to Hodgson again. He's picked Thrun. You've got either Gekno, Harshy, or Connor to pick from. Are there any that strike your fancy? Like,
I mean,
is this going to be a good pick,
here's
or
the thing. The good thing about not doing so well today means that it might just not have been their day today, and especially if they're new drivers, it's an easy thing to be able to try and teach them on what not to do. So with that taken in consideration, and the fact how I have seen Harshy's POV when watching his stream, and I'm not gonna lie, it does look a bit dusty. I'm gonna again bite the bullet and take Gekno.
So Gekno to Renno.
Ooh, big rhymes. We've got Grime Artist, AJ, Dan in the call. Yeah, Gekno, he's quite a mean Lee Sin and Teemo jungle. Played a few times for NSK Academy, so yeah, we'll see if he can transfer that powerhouse and the best organization over to Renault. So that's actually Renault complete. That's 6 drivers in total. So Hodge and Sesh in F1. You've then got Flyer, Cadet, Thrun, and Gekno as a full F2 cohort.
Seems
6
like
drivers
solid
in total.
Seems like a solid team, to be fair to them.
Yeah,
the Thrun and Gekno are a bit slower, but you got the likes of Flyer, Hodge, and Sesh that can, lend them a hand. And I think Sesh's got a bit of experience with the F2 cars as well, because he's done the F2 league as well as Cadet. So you can definitely help them out for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes you've got a natural difference in pace, and it's up to the better drivers to carry the less good drivers. I mean, Callie isn't doing too well, but luckily he's got you. So sometimes we take those.
Give up time. You'll be fine soon.
Okay, now Brandon's not going to get a last pick because he's going to be given the driver that Trav doesn't pick here. So without further ado, let's bring out Trav for his final pick.
Connor.
Okay, so Red Bull is getting Connor, I guess.
There we are. We could have had a ceremonious end to that one. In the end, it's Connor moving over to Red Bull, and that leaves Harshy moving on to Mercedes.
What's Brandon's thoughts on that? Just curious.
It's only a reserve league, it's not that deep.
Good.
So
what exactly we're going to hear from a captain?
Yeah, so Harshy's been flamed by 2 captains, and when forced into being picked by a 3rd captain, has been told that it doesn't matter about his performance because it's a reserve league. That's maybe the biggest flame I've ever seen on anyone from any of VL's streams, and that includes Name It or Flame It.
Why does having low pixels mean bad driver? Callie's laptop was fucking garbage, and he wasn't that bad last split.
To be fair, I'm more interested in how the dynamic of Bauer and Harshy work in the same sort of project.
Actually, that's going to be brilliant.
They'll just be on different teams. Simple. Problem solved.
Then fuck off.
So, a bit of word on the constructors. So when you race F2 in F1 2019, or whatever we race, let's stick with F1 2019 for now, because that's quite a contentious topic at the moment. So for F2, there are 10 constructors, and none of those are the current F1 constructors. So there's constructors such as Dams, Cartlin, Trident, MP Motorsport. What we're going to do at some future point is assign F2 constructors to the teams that you're seeing on screen. So as an example, Red Bull has 4 drivers, and we'll have 2 of those constructors. We don't know which 2 it'll be. They'll be handed out at some point. That's to be confirmed later. But the main thing we know is that the 16 drivers on screen, they've been drafted. You now have a seat in an F2 vehicle, and you'll be racing for F2. And if a reserve opportunity comes up in F1, going towards next season, your F2 performance will be very important, because those at the top of the F2 championship will be highly considered for the draft into F1 as we go at the end of Season 3 into Season 4. Congratulations to all of our drivers who are picked, and it's been quite a long evening. Dan, do you have any overall thoughts on the draft or the cast?
Just so put out there again, I'm pretty sure if I'm wrong, Brandon, correct me. People can join the F2 league at any point, right? But where they get drafted then depends on sort of where everything is, or you're not taking.
Come and go. We can pretty much guarantee that with the reserve league, so just keep your eye out.
So if anyone's interested in the chat, I see one person asking, you to sign up. You're too late to be drafted tonight. But if you sign up, I'm not sure how it will work with the next race, but I'm sure there'll be something that can be figured out in terms of adding you to the league onwards. So, in terms of the whole drafting thing, F2 is a really good thing that we've actually, Brandon and I think Trav mostly and Alex have set up in terms of like letting people come into the league and people who aren't like up to speed with, say, the likes of Couchy, Zeus, they can obviously learn to get as fast as them and improve that way and get a lot better and hopefully join F1 and become just as good as them one day.
One bit of promotion that I've been asked to do by the admin team. We do 5-lap just practice races every now and then. We call them 5-bappers because as F1 and F2 drivers, we like to put Bs in random places that they don't belong. So there is a 5-bappers tag on VL Discord. If you want it, please ask an admin or mod and they will give you the 5-bappers tag. That means that whenever anyone wants to organize a practice 5-lap race, they will tag 5-bappers and you will be notified rather than pinging all the admins. Yep, it's in their own self-interest. As with all things, we take those. So, congratulations again. If you need to know the answer to anything about F1, F2, ask Blaze, ask Travis, ask any of the admins, and you'll either be told or redirected to the right point. For all F2 drivers, best of luck. Enjoy. It's going to be a fun one. And, Yeet Flyer is what I'm going to end that one on. Dan, I'll leave it to you to close.
Yeah, so thanks everyone that's been involved tonight. You haven't seen them, but we've had stewards in the background, so thanks to them for watching the race, giving up their time. Thanks to Brandon for organising it. Thanks to Travis for streaming it, which is one of the hardest jobs because God forbid you have to do that job. Thanks to all the F2 drivers who've shown up and took part. Obviously, the league wouldn't be what it is without the people driving in it. And thanks for coming for joining us. Yeah, thank you. Big up Jesus. Or, Allah or Muhammad, whichever one you prefer to choose. No other ones, of course. Thanks to everyone who actually took part in it. That's all from me. So, I assume this is the end, and Travis will shut down the stream fast. So it's not awkward. I'm just sat here talking to myself like this. It's kind of weird.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like
Is it
me,
off?
they
Are we
long
done?
to be close
Travis?
to you. Yeah, you might want to stop the stream, friend.
Travis.
I would drive 1,000 miles just to get to you.